Hey team, it's day 61 of the $1,000 account challenge. Today I'm actually down. It's a red day, down 0.5% or $73. Not that big of a deal. I'm going to review that trade, why it was a loss, and then talk about another trade that I took in my personal account to make $1,000 because I've had a few of you ask me about that. So straight off of the day trade watch list, off the day trade watch list channel, today we had PayPal, PYPL, long idea over 77. So let's flip to the PayPal chart, and we're going to look at this actually on the 1 minute time frame. PayPal breaks out above 77. We have a trend line here. Breaks out above 77 in the early morning session. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, great. And it's one of the few stocks at this time that's actually breaking the trigger level. So I'm thinking this is a big enough push, a $1 move for us to have confirmation. So as it pulls back, I don't want to miss the trade. I don't want to miss out on this. I'm seeing this little bit as old resistance, potential new support. I go ahead and take an early entry there to get some skin in the game. And this was a smaller entry because I did plan to scale into this in the event that it did come down further. And that's exactly what it did and exactly what I did. As it dropped lower, I added to the position here. I had an original stop loss at 77 and I held through. We get a pop move up. I think I was about break even at that point, and then the pullback to below 77, but I waited. I stayed patient. I wanted to see if this was going to hold or not, and it did. It did hold, started to push back up, gave us another red candle right back down to 77, and I added in for the third time and the final time right there. I've made a video about scaling in. And I talk about in that video, when you scale in, you want to scale in with the intention of lowering your cost basis. So for me to add in up here didn't make sense because I'd already added over here, right? Or if this had pushed up to here, for me to add way up here, it didn't make sense because I've already added up there. So by averaging into the position lower and lower and lower, I'm lowering my cost basis and still managing risk at this time. What I was looking for was for this to hold 77 and push back up towards the high of day. And unfortunately, we just never got that move. Bounced around quite a few times, bouncing off of 77. I eventually closed the position over here for about a 10% loss. Now, could I have held through and closed for profits or near break even? Yeah, I was actually up on this position quite a few times, but I was never up more than 10%, so not enough for me to take profits on. So after about an hour here of holding this position, it was just not doing what I thought it was going to do, so I closed the position out at 77, around a 10% loss, and that's what put us red on the day. If I go back to the challenge channel, that's what put us red on the day, down $73 or 0.5%, right? So not that big of a deal. I wasn't in with very many contracts. I think I had about 6 contracts total. What I did do, though, when I closed this position at 77 was I was on my personal account and I decided to go short because a lot of names were dropping at the time, right? SPY was dropping, AMD was dropping, and I figured that was a good chance for me to capitalize on some of those moves. So I'm going to go over to SPY. I actually traded SPX in my personal account, but I want to show you this message that came from Denmark. It said, hey, Gates, I'm new on the premium. I was wondering if you would detail your personal account trade on SPY. And what I told him was, see if you can figure it out first. Report back to me when you think you've found a trade that makes sense. So I always encourage my members to do their own homework and research and review first rather than just asking. Had Dan came to me and said, here's a couple of things that I saw on SPY, is this potentially where you took, are these areas where you potentially took your entry and exit, I would have responded in a much different way. But just asking for something without giving me something in first, showing me that you're willing to put in the work first, I'm going to encourage you to put in that work. And then I sent them the P&L. So on the personal account, you can see I traded SPX, today's expiration, 17 April, made $1,080 on the day. What do we have going on here? So 1 minute time, actually I'm going to show you this on the 5-minute time frame. Opening chop on SPY. Rally up, pull back, hold PDC as support. Rally up, pull back, failed to hold PDC as support. Now this is very important. SPY was stuck in a range using the previous day's closing price, let's just say roughly 412.5 as a point of support, and the high of day at the time, 413.2 as a point of resistance, right? So SPY bounced off the PDC, rallied up, could not break the high of day, confirmation 1, could not break the high of day, and 2, broke the low of day. That's going to be confirmation 2. So could not break high of day, broke the low of day, confirmation 2, and on the 1 minute time frame, broke the low of day. Look at this volume coming in on large volume. That's going to be confirmation number 3. Confirmation number 4, failed to hold the previous day's close as a point of support. So 4 confirmations there as to why we could go short on SPY. So when we get this drop, I'm going to delete this line here. We're focused on this green static line. When we get this drop right here on SPY down into the low of day at the time on higher volume, after rejecting the high of day and below the previous day's closing price, I go short on SPY on this short on SPX on this rally up, and then wound up closing the position literally 2 minutes later. So what I did was I went short after we had 4 confirmations here, utilizing the previous day's close as a point of resistance, and wound up closing the position for profits here into the low of day. And if you've ever traded SPX, you know that those contracts move really quickly. What actually happened was I wound up getting double filled on that position. And totally didn't mean to. So I was in with a little more size than I wanted to be in. And when I hit the $1,000 profit, I just went ahead and took the profits off the table. But that was the trade. Very quick, confirmed, very quick trade, but after the confirmed breakdown. So rejection at high of day, again, break below PDC, higher volume, and the move down into the low of day. Rally up, take the position short, utilizing PDC as a point of resistance or a stop loss, and then closing the position as we get the move back down into the low of day for $1,000 profit. So that's the trade. I hope the video has helped you out. Press the like button for me if it has. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will see you all in chat. Thank you for your time. Take care.